Hey everybody, Buzz here, and take you through a nice Friday stretch and recovery class. Just like last week, we're going to need a towel or some sort of yoga strap, but this week we're going to introduce a foam roller. Now, if you don't have one of these at home, that's okay. Highly suggest you get on Amazon or something, see if you can get one ordered. Really good tool for recovery, breaking up those muscle fibers and such, but we'll touch on that later. If you don't have one of these, I'll show you some substitutes for that stretch when we get there. Okay, so we're on our yoga mat or we're somewhere on the floor. I want us to start with our feet outstretched. Get nice and comfy, sitting up nice and tall. And we're just going to start with a couple deep breaths. Deep breath in and out. In and out. Now we're going to incorporate those arms. Deep breath in, raise arms up and out. Again. One more time. This time when we reach those arms up on our deep breath, I want you to fall forward, reaching those toes. It's going to look something like this. Got it? Let's try. Deep breath. Exhale. Lean for those toes. Grab a toe, grab an ankle, and just hang out down here. Here's our first hamstring stretch. Continue those deep breaths in and out. Every time we exhale a deep breath out, try to pull yourself a little deeper into the stretch. And relax. Sit up nice and slow. We're going to do that one more time. Deep breath in. Arms up. Exhale, bend and reach. Hopefully we're reaching a little bit further this time. Maybe our toes, maybe further closer to our ankles. But just grab and hold. Lean a little closer if you can. 10 seconds. And slowly relax. Good job. Now we're going to take that right leg, pull it on in. So our right foot is on the inside of our left thigh. We're going to try to focus on taking this knee and closing the gap in between the floor here. As we do that, I'm going to take my left arm and reach down for those left toes. So kind of a two-part stretch here. Ready? 3, 2, 1, and reach. Once you feel comfortable stretching this left leg, that's when you switch focus over here. Try to push this knee down, or even just think about pushing it down yourself. And slowly release. Good. Switch sides, right leg out, left foot comes in. Try to get this knee down. Reach with that right arm. Grab the toe or ankle. Stretch that right side first, then think about this leg. release. Now we're going to bring both feet together like a good old-fashioned butterfly stretch. First part of it, we're going to try to pull our heels in as close as we can. I'm going to spin a little bit here. As close as we can to our groin. The closer we get those heels, the more we're going to feel a stretch in our inner thighs. Ready? Pull them in. Take these knees you see wiggling. We're trying to bring them down to the floor. Opening up that groin. If you want a deeper stretch, you can lean forward into it. As soon as you feel some tension, stop and hold. As you continue to breathe and things start to loosen up, try to sink a little bit deeper, bringing those knees closer to the floor, your body closer to your feet. Good. Now the second part of this stretch is now we're going to slide those feet out in front of us a little bit further. This allows us to get these knees a little closer to the floor, and it allows us to bring our upper body a little bit deeper into the stretch. So I want you to grab those same feet, lean forward, trying to bring our chest down to the floor. So now we're stretching our hips, our low back, our upper back, and just hold. And slowly release. Good. All right. Hamstrings, hips, groin, we hit. Now we're going to hit a little bit more of those hips and a little bit of our quads. So this is called a hurdler stretch. So the best way to get into it, start with our feet forward. We're going to take our right foot, pull it out here to the side, almost making a 90-degree angle with our knee and our heel. Left foot is going to come across out in front, so our left heel is in front of that right knee. So we're kind of making two angles here with our legs. Once we have these angles in place, now it's up to us to slowly start to lean forward into the stretch. You should feel it in that left hip. That's our target here. The closer you can get to the floor, the more you're going to feel that stretch. Once you feel it, ooh, I feel it, sink down and just hold. Good. Slowly up. And we're just going to pivot over to the other side. So, left leg goes out and back. Right leg comes across. Remember, heel in front of this knee. This knee should be perpendicular. And we're just going to lean forward into it until we feel that tightness. You may start to notice when we do each side, one side is tighter than another. And that's okay. It is normal. Just got to make sure we stretch that side a little bit more. Good. And release. We're going to go back to a seated position. Now we're going to go after our hips and low back one last time. Starting with our feet straight all the way out. Bring our right foot up and over the left knee. So now we got a cross position, hands out behind us. I want you to take that left arm, pull it across that right knee, and try to twist your upper body by using that left elbow to push that right knee across. So we're feeling a stretch in our hip here, and also our upper back as we're twisting. Hold it here. Good. Slowly release. Other side. Left foot, right knee, plant the left hand, right arm comes across, big twist. Ooh, this side is tight for me. Good, and release. All right, now we're gonna go to the towels or strap. So we hit kind of our hips, our hamstrings, a little bit of a quads. We'll get to those in a little bit. But often we always forget about is our calves. So instead of stepping on a stair or stretching them on a machine, all we need is our handy dandy towel. Wrap it around the top of your foot here. Make sure it's secure. And we're just gonna grab and pull with our whole upper body, leaning back. I'm gonna pivot a little bit so you can see this. What we want to focus on is pulling just the top of that foot as far back as we can while keeping the whole leg on the ground. That's really going to stretch that calf muscle. Now, if your heel comes up a little bit, that's okay. We want to keep the rest of the foot on the ground. Big pulls here. As you feel it loosening up, really try to pull through your upper back and shoulders, not just your arms. So you really feel some nice tension. Good. Switch to the other side, same thing. Tighten it around the top. Nice solid grip. And pull. Try to keep that leg down. Good. Slowly the release. And I always like to finish by doing both of them together. So try to wrap it around the tops of both. Lean back, big pull. This one's a little more difficult. Make sure you get them right. And pull. Oh, there we go. Good, and release. All right, so for those of you that tuned in last week, now we're gonna switch to our hamstring stretch with the towel. I'm gonna twist to the side here so you can see. But similar to our calf stretch, we wanna put the towel around the top of the foot, just the top of the foot so we get some good tension there. Make sure it's secure, give it a little test, And then all you're going to do is lean back with just that one leg. Try to keep your other leg flat. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And as you pull, you start to feel tension build right here. Now, don't just pull it back to pull it back, because look what happens. This bottom leg comes off the ground. That leg has to stay, and you pull until you feel tension. Once you feel tension, I want you to stop and hold. These ones we're going to hold a little bit longer. This is a good deep stretch. Don't forget our breathing. As you continue to breathe, you'll feel it start to loosen up a little bit more. Just blocking my view of you guys. There we go. Sometimes loosening up, letting it come down a little bit. Relax. And you can pull a little deeper. Feel that stretch. All right, we're going to turn this into a two-parter. We already have it up nice and tall. Now we're just going to let it fall away from our right side over to the left. Feeling our hips stretch across. Hold that towel in our hand. Try to keep this back shoulder down on the ground. And you should feel a deep stretch right here, right in your right side hip flexor. We'll hold it here just for a little bit. Good, and release. Sit up nice and slow. Switch sides. Get that left foot nice and secure. Good grip on the towel. Start pulling up and leaning backwards. Nice and strong. Good, keep that right leg down. And find your sticking point. And just like the other side, we're going to bring it across. This time we'll be right in front of you so you can kind of see a little better. Holding that towel while keeping that back shoulder down. Feel that stretch right here in that top hip. And release. Good job. All right. So we got the hamstrings, the hips, the groin. Let's get after those quads, huh? All right. So a quad stretch is probably my favorite. We're going to stand for this one. I know we were just sitting down, but we're going to stand briefly. Okay? See if you can still see me. All right. So all we're going to do is bend our knees a little bit, reach down for that right ankle, pull it on up, try to keep our balance. If you have a chair or something stable right here, that takes the balance out of it so you can focus on the stretch. Now, what if you can't reach your ankle? Some of us aren't that flexible. Again, that's where that towel comes in. So you're going to put that towel around your foot, grab it with the one hand, and pull. Now, again, where balance is key. So get that foot locked in and just pull up on that towel. See if you can see from this angle. There we go. Keeping that knee straight down And we're pulling that heel up towards our backside. Woo! I'm hopping all over the place. Big stretch here. Good, and release. Now we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Grab your towel, lock the foot, and pull up. Let's try this side. Good, and release. Okay, let's do that one more time, nice and quick. I'm going to grab with my hands. If you want to use a towel, you can. Let's go back to that right leg here. Ready? Set, big pull. For those of you that are a little bit more flexible, if you can get that heel all the way up towards your butt, I want you to start leaning forward, letting that knee come straight back behind you, really deepening that stretch in our quad. Like I said, we'll keep it nice and brief. And release. Other side, same thing. Grab, knee down, heel the backside. If that's not enough, start to lean forward. Knee goes straight back. Big stretch. Good, and release. All right, back down to the mat. That's enough standing for stretch day. We're going to use that foam roller I was talking about. So I'm going to go through one time how to use the foam roller. If you don't have the foam roller, I'll go through an exercise you can substitute for that. So the first one I always like to target is my back. So hopefully you have one that's a little bit bigger than mine, but this will do. You're going to slide it underneath the small of your back, lean back to it like you're sitting on a couch or a recliner, and then once you get stable, I want you to plant those feet down on the floor. It's going to be a little tough with me in socks, but we'll make it work. Once you get it planted, I want you to start raising your hips up off the floor so that they're not touching. I don't know if you can tell, but nothing touching there. Now you're going to start feeling some pressure from that foam roller. If you feel comfortable, I want you to slide down, rolling that foam roller up your back. Once you get to about mid-back or shoulder, stop and roll back the other way. Notice how I'm keeping my upper body kind of in a C form, leaning into it. We don't want to just fall over this thing like this, especially if we're not ready. So try to keep your core tight, and we're going to roll. It's going to be tough at first, especially if you've never done it. It takes practice. But what this is doing is it's breaking up all the tension, all the scar tissue we have around our spine and in our back. It relieves all that pressure. So we're going to go up and down it a couple times. If you're doing it, keep doing it. For those of us that don't have it, what we're going to do is kind of what we did a little bit earlier in the last episode. So we're going to lay flat, big stretch out, arms long, legs long, hands long. And with your hands and wrists like this, I want you to push down with those hands and wrists as you raise your head up. So I'll twist to the side so you can see it a little different. Arms real long, hands down, wrists down, push yourself up, stretching that upper back, those lats and shoulders. Good. Once you stretch that, we're going to slide those hands underneath our chest and our shoulders. Same thing, slowly push ourselves up. If we can get all the way up with our hips still touching, that's great. If we can only get about halfway, that's also good. But what I want you to do is work through a couple of these where you press yourself up, hold 1, 2, lower yourself down. Press yourself up, hopefully a little higher, 1, 2, back down. So you work through those, we'll work through the foam rollers. Let's go, one time through. Just rolling. If you find a spot that hurts a little bit more than others, try to hold it there and keep your rolling a little smaller. That's extra tension that we want to break up. All right, good job. All right, we got 2 more exercises. I'm going to show you that, and then I'll let you go for today. Hamstrings, another large muscle group that gets really tight from sitting, running, lifting, all those good things. So mine's only big enough to show you one leg, but basically if you have a bigger one, it's going to work the same for 2. You're going to put it underneath the meat of the muscle there. Hands are going out to your side, and you're going to use either one leg, if you're using just a small one like me, to raise yourself up, or if you're doing both legs, you're just going to raise yourself on top of that foam roller, and just like our back, we're going to roll forwards and roll backwards. Forwards and backwards. Again, we're trying to find those spots that cause us pain, that cause some tension, and break it up. Now, if we don't have a foam roller, like I was saying, I want you to go back to the towel stretch. So one or both legs come back, straight up, and just pull them in close to your backside so you feel a stretch right in here. I'm joining the foam rolling team, and I think I'm going to try to squeeze myself on this little one with both legs. So raise yourself up, use your hands for balance, slide forward, slide back, slide forward, slide back. Try to do about 10 to 12 passes, finding any spots that bug you. Good. All right, last one, we're going to hit the opposite side, our quads. Now this one usually causes people the most amount of pain because this is where we unknowingly carry a lot of our tension. So what we're going to do is start with that foam roller at the top of our knees. Hands are going to go out in front of us like we're doing a plank. And we're just going to slide ourselves on top of that foam roller. Let me go from the side here, a little better angle. And then just like before, body comes off the ground and we roll forward and back. Forward and back. This one, if you play around a little bit, finding different spots. If you don't want to put your hands, you can do a plank and just kind of roll like this on your elbows. But you will find all sorts of muscular discomfort when you're rolling your quads. For those of us that don't have one of these, I want you to go back to your feet and you got to do the quad stretch. Okay? This will be our last stretch for the day, so make it count. I'm going to start back here so you can see me go full range of motion all the way back, all the way down. Couple more times. Those of you stretching your quads standing, switch legs if you haven't already. All right, very good. So that's all I had for you today. Hope you enjoyed it. For those of you who did not have one of these, your homework is to get on Amazon, go to Walmart, somewhere, find one of these guys, make sure you get one. I'm telling you, it's a low investment for a tool that will never break down or almost never breaks down and will really, really help change your recovery and stretching process. Also note, I'll get closer, get one of the smooth ones that have a nice hard center. Don't get the ones with all the nubs and spikes all over it. You don't want those. Those are too painful. But I'm Chris, or Buzz, rather. Thanks for joining me today. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, you can email us at virtualwellness@tryhealth.com. It's always a mouthful. Like this video if you liked it. Leave a comment, any stretches or areas you want to target for next time, and see you next Friday with a foam roller. Take care.